So I thought I would just go live with this. I'm making a concerted effort, as you know, if you're a loyal viewer of mine, I'm making a concerted effort not to not to talk about, not to cover, not to really just try to close, to try to um, ignore as much as possible the U.S. election, because I just don't think it's a good thing to be paying attention to. But I have to break in when certain things. I do notice certain things, and I have to talk about them. And it seems that there was another attempt on Donald Trump's life. Um, you can find this story across the news. You know, even the mainstream media is saying that it happened. They're not trying to say, oh, it was all a hoax, or it was all it was this is, or that it's fake news, or misinformation, or any of the crap that they usually say. Um, they're acknowledging it. Uh, it seems that um, the shooter. Let me get out my laptop here. Um, I know I'm not very prepared. I just thought I was driving, and then I heard about this, and I thought, why not why not go live? This seems like something that's worth going live about. And then I wondered, will YouTube even let me go live? Because YouTube has put little restrictions on me for being a bad person. A bad person. That's one word. But apparently I can still go live. So thank you, YouTube. Thank you so much. Um, yeah. So it seems that this happened earlier today, on a golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida. Trump was out golfing, and let me look it up here. And someone was it's a little hazy right now whether shots were actually fired by the would-be assassin. Yep, AP News, even CNN, NBC, you know, all the Lugan Press, they're all covering this. But let me go to a legacy media outlet that I can semi-stand. Um, okay. All right, new. There's something new here going on. They're okay. Donald Trump assassination attempt. Pictures of Trump's would-be assassin's backpack and gun released. Former President Donald Trump was rushed to safety by Secret Service agents after a man armed with an AK-47 opened fire on his golf course. Trump was golfing at the time. Okay, so he did fire. He actually, so the assassin, the would-be assassin, actually fired shots, according to this story. Trump was golfing at the time the man was spotted several holes ahead of Trump. And they've got a diagram of where the suspect, this is that they show where the golf course where this happened, and then where the suspect was apprehended a bit later. So anyway, you can go to the Lugan Press outlet of your choice. They're all saying that agreeing that there was indeed another assassination attempt on Trump. I don't know if that means, I mean, they are the lying press, so maybe they're lying about this too. I mean, anything's possible, but I'm just saying. I think it happened. Uh, this is possibly the second assassination attempt on the ex-pres this election. He was previously shot at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th. Okay. Would be, they say, so here's something new. I'm not usually a news chaser like this. I'm not usually a news junkie, but I'm making an exception with this case. Sources say, this is from a minute ago on the New York Post, sources say Ryan Ruth, 58, was identified as the alleged would-be assassin of former President Donald Trump, according to sources. Yeah. Trump campaign offices in West Palm Beach on lockdown after an apparent assassination attempt. By the way. Okay. So here is hang on. Here's a picture of the sniper's nest. I'm not gonna, you can look it up yourself. It's not, I'm not gonna show it to you here because that would just be silly. But what you see are a backpack and a rifle. That I guess are left by the fence here. So there's a sniper. The supposed sniper's nest was by the fence. So I guess the would-be assassin was behind the fence. Okay, so the release images show alleged gunman Ryan Wesley Ruths. Of course, he's got to have a middle name. We got to know his middle name because that's the deal. Ryan Wesley Ruth's AK-47 rifle, propped up against a fence alongside a black backpack and a GoPro attached to the wire. So he was going to film himself doing the shooting. It's still not totally clear to me whether shots were actually fired, although I'm reading I read one thing that said. So I guess this is all just sort of fresh right now. So we have a name and age of the person that they allegedly did the shooting, or who allegedly did the shooting. Ryan Ruth, R-O-U-T-H, and his age 58. Hey, go Gen X. All right. This is a Gen X assassin, would-be assassin. I feel so proud. I feel so proud of my generation. My heart is swelling. I'm kidding, of course. Got to make that clear this day and age. All right, so looks like there's all kinds of breaking news. But if we can trust the news, which of course we can't, but if we can trust the mainstream news, then it seems what happened was that someone was either spotted with the rifle, or actually fired off a shot, but appeared to miss everything and everybody. But we do know that, or what is reported is that the Secret Service fired at the gunman. So if they just spotted him, I guess it's possible that the Secret Service might have just seen him and then fired on him before he could get off a shot, and then threw down his gun and ran away and tried to escape, but they put out a report and then arrested him a short time later. I guess that's one possibility, or the other possibility is maybe he did actually fire a shot, um, and then so he missed, and then the Secret Service missed. I mean, such competency all around. But at least this time, well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out whether they're, or maybe we won't. Maybe we won't find out. But last time this happened, there was obviously not good security. Um, we've been over that many times already. The thing that happened in Pennsylvania, the Secret Service dropped the ball. That's the most flattering way to characterize their behavior there. Here, so far, we're not hearing anything about how, they were, I don't know, they were incompetent. Uh, but it seems that regardless, there was another effort to take Trump out. And this time, the guy's alive, at least for now. Cue Jack Ruby, right? Cue modern day Jack Ruby. I don't know. I don't know. Normally when I do live, I haven't done a live broadcast in a while. Normally when I do this, I go through a spiel, and then I look at comments after I'm done with my spiel. So, but this time I don't really have much more to say. I guess I'm struck by the extent to which we are truly banana republic here in the West, here in the United States, the obviously the most powerful, prosperous country in the world. But it's more and more clear that the people who run the show, people in charge, um, are just as corrupt as in any banana republic or any African warlord owned territory uh, in Africa, or whatever, what have you, any supposedly any tin pot dictator, any little bitty dictator. Uh, it's clear to me that there's no room to judge uh, those places, because what's happening, the people here um, are at least as corrupt and much more powerful. That's the difference. That's the difference. Uh, it's not that we're better than these third world dictatorships. I mean, we are better. We're better when it comes to history and heritage and English common law and other sorts of things that are uniquely of the West. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a cultural relativist, but as far as the state of things right now in the West and in the United States in particular, the leader of the Western world, um, the leadership is just as corrupt as anywhere else. Um, this is something. This is like I think this happened to Bolsonaro, right? In Brazil, someone stabbed him. Although there was only one assassination attempt on him. I mean, this is like this is new. This is like like normally it doesn't come to this, but now it has. Now it has come to this. And it's interesting. It's interesting that the target is the it's not a both sides thing, is it? We're not hearing about. um, I was going to say Democrats, but I don't want to make this into a Democrat versus Republican thing. I think it's a uniparty thing. I've heard it characterized that way, and I believe it. I believe that. I believe in that characterization. This is the establishment, the uniparty, both Democrat and Republican. More prominently Democrat right now, but at one time it was more prominently Republican. Uh, they're not; those people aren't getting targeted right now. It's all there's a target painted on uh, Donald Trump right now. He's the one who's being targeted. Now, what you could say this is just happening because there's been such a hate mob whipped up against him that people think we've got people are more inclined to as they say, as the meme goes, choose violence because they think they're doing a righteous deed by trying to take him out. Um, this is the second time, or I mean, I hate to speculate this, but will the third time be the charm? Um, but two assassination attempts against a someone running for president. That's not something that I think has ever happened before. I don't even think uh, a candidate for president has ever that there's ever been an assassination attempt on a candidate, on someone running for president before. I might be wrong, and I don't know the whole breadth of history on that subject, but I've never heard of it happening before. Um, but now it's happened twice. I mean, how much are there still people out there who are like who mock and belittle and deride so-called conspiracy theorists? Are they still out there? Are they still showing their faces now? How can you be anything but a conspiracy person given realities? How could you be? Um, I mean, it's just being realistic now. It's just as far as I think I've said this before. Um, what's that thing where the simplest explanation is usually the one that's true. I can't remember what that's called now. Things always fly out of my mind. Um, but yeah. But anyway, but that principle that the simplest explanation is usually the truthful one. Well, that doesn't exclude conspiracy. Sometimes a conspiracy is the most uh, plausible. Um, but the people who use uh, that dictum um, to the people who invoke that dictum, um, which has flown out of my head, but 98% of the time I know what it is, but I put myself in front of a camera and then I forget. Um, you know, I'm I'm an old man. Have some mercy on me. But 98%. Anyway, the 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 way that dictum is wielded, the way that it's used is to say you conspiracy theorists are making everything too complicated. The simplest explanation is the most plausible one. Well, maybe the simplest explanation here is that a political establishment is out is gunning for uh, a particular candidate. I mean, uh, I'm open to anything. You know, I'm open to the idea that this is all staged or that this is all theater, uh, and that Trump is just managed opposition or controlled opposition. I'm certainly open to that idea. Uh, it's not that I'm it's not that I'm not. It just doesn't. It. Um, I would need to see more evidence about that being the case before I actually advocated and believed that. It seems to me that what is going on is that the establishment really doesn't want him to ascend to power again, and they're doing whatever it takes to try to take him out. So far, they have failed, but I don't think the fact that they failed so far means uh, that means I don't think that refutes this notion or this thesis, this idea. It still seems like the most um, the the explanation that makes the most sense, the explanation of events that makes the most sense. All right, I'll read some comments now. Nice shirt, says the Osprey. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go all the way. Why don't these people wait until after the election? If he loses, it would save them a lot of trouble. Good question. Um, that's a good question. I guess maybe they think that he's maybe they think he's going to win. Maybe they're more they feel that the odds are that maybe he's going to win. But then these people like they control elections. They manipulate elections. That's what they do. But maybe they just think they can't pull that off again. After 2020. So they've got to go for something else. But yeah, after the second attempt, it's getting kind of obvious. Um, yes, in these goings down, it is happening. George Van, good exception to make for the story, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, yeah, ME media and inside actors creating quote reality around Trump about how hated he is, staging things to create the news. Um, like I said, that may be true, and that's why I'm not like I'm so much of a I mean I'm so much of a cynic about anything that is working within the system because the system is so obviously manifestly corrupt. The fact that Trump was able to run for president and become president makes him so suspect in my eyes. And that's why I've never advocated for Trump. Um, because I'm not convinced that he's the real deal. Uh, but I don't know that what you're saying is necessarily the truth either. Yes, Occam's razor. Thank you, Kyle. That's what I was trying to. That's the principle I was trying to think of. Occam's razor is the notion that the simplest explanation is usually the true explanation. But what's Occam's razor in this case? They they trumped up pun maybe intended. I don't know. Maybe intended, maybe unintended. But they trumped up a legal case against him that most people thought was totally bogus, and then they found him guilty anyway. And people already thought, wow, and they tried to impeach him a couple times, even after he lost. After the election was over in 2020, they tried to impeach him again. Um, like this is just crazy. This is crazy stuff. So tried to impeach him twice. uh, threw all this bogus legal stuff at him, um, and then tried to kill him, actually physically kill him, now twice. I mean, you tell me what does Occam's razor tell you? If Occam's razor tells you that this is just one crazy person, uh, I don't know. Then if that's what you honestly think, then I don't know what to say to you. That's not what Occam's razor tells me under these circumstances, in this particular context. Biden, Harris Clinton will be footnotes. They're already footnotes, in my mind. Uh, Thank you for tuning in, Orthodox. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've got anything more to say about this. I mean, I think that's basically what's going through my mind right now. I mean, I'll still monitor this story, but I mean, because I'm interested in what the profile will be of this person that they've already identified by name, and that this time was allowed to survive. What will be the story there? The first shooter, or the person they said was the shooter, his whole background was just basically wiped from the record. He was just he was a 20-year-old, um, nothing. Tales of a 20-year-old nothing. He like a very convenient patsy. Now I wonder what the playbook is with this guy. Uh, Kyle says, living on the dying days of petrol empire. Andy, they will study for millennia. Thank you. Exceptional analysis. Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, I don't think I'm exactly spitting, anything, anything extraordinarily profound. It's like, this would occur if you've got any kind of common sense. This is what I'm saying right now is what you're thinking right now. You don't have to be an intellectual. You don't have to. Uh, I mean, you just have to be aware. You just have to be alive. You just have to be alive and aware of what's going on around you to think, to have the assessment that I have. But thank you anyway. I don't mean to sound ungracious. Thank you. Kyle from Milwaukee. All right. Uh, Town of my paternal ancestry. My dad was from Milwaukee. Um, Orthodox says, on her face. And yeah, I know. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I do. But I digress. You know this. I do know this. I do know that. And while I'd like to think that Trump is a savior, I've never felt that way about him. So, you know, um, but I mean, people are going to say, like if you don't like the Uniparty, people are going to say that you're a Trump supporter, uh, just because people are stupid. Gen X Breakfast Club gets it. Is that a an actual, uh, is that a YouTube channel, or are you just talking about Gen X? Are you just saying I'm like of the Gen X Breakfast Club? Yeah, Gen X Judd Nelson has the healthy detached perspective. Right. um, I was going for a scholarship. Yeah. Um, Yeah, I'm not really detached. I wish I would. I wish I could be more detached. Um, but it bothers me. What's going on does bother me. Um, what's become of things does bother me. Uh, so I wish I were more detached. Yeah. So I think that's it. I don't know if I have more to say about any of this. Um, yes, it's sad to see what we love die. Yeah. Um, yeah. That's a line in the movie Mosquito Coast. Harrison Ford's character actually says that, and it's also in the book. But I remember it from the movie very distinctly. How he talks about when his grandmother was dying, he left the room, and people said that he was that was callous of him, but it was the very he said it was the very opposite of callous. It was because I loved her so much, I couldn't stand to be there when she was dying. Couldn't stand to see someone I loved die. Yeah. Um, but I think maybe this is a reminder, and I think Orthodox phronosis, or whatever you're called now, will also appreciate this. Not to get too comfortable on this earth. Our true home is not here. So maybe it's good from that point of view. Maybe that's why God allows things like this. One of the reasons to explain why God does what He does, um, because it helps to remind ourselves that this world is not conclusion, as Emily Dickinson wrote. Yeah, but we are guardians of the, Kyle says we are guardians of the ancient knowledge. Hopefully, you might be. I don't know what. I don't know if I'm. I don't know if I've got any ancient knowledge. I'm not trying to be humble here, but yeah, I'm just uh, some guy living in a crazy world. You know, that's all. That's me. But thank you. It's good to know. Um, let's see. I just felt like, yeah, thanks. Peace be with you as well, Kyle. I just felt like this was something that it was important to come on and to talk about. Um, a pineapple republic, George says. A pineapple, yeah, or an orange republic. That would be Florida. Pineapple, is the pineapple the most? No. What's the most common fruit grown here? Apple? Are we an apple republic? What is yeah. Like they call the Central American dictatorships banana republics because bananas are grown there. But what do we grow here? What would be like uh apple republic, a pear republic? I don't know what our what our fruit is, what our national fruit would be. Orthodox phronosis always slinging the quote of Father Seraphim Rose or some other Orthodox writer. But yes, I agree. Yep. I would be giving the heart back to you, but I'm holding the phone with one of my hands. So smiley face. Yeah, so I think I'm done. I think I've said all I have to say about this right now. Um, and I don't know. I don't know what I'll do about this story. Is this going to drag me back into the news? I don't know. I kind of like I'm trying to stay out of the news. So um so I don't know. I might not talk about this again, but I felt like talking about it today. Yep. So there you go. Um, we'll see. we're we're headed for the iceberg, boys. But at least we know it. At least we know we're headed for the iceberg. Unlike the poor souls on the Titanic, they didn't know. Unless, unless it wasn't really an iceberg. God, you can't even make any historical metaphors anymore because people were saying, but what we were taught about that is actually not true. You can't, you can't. Gosh. Um, Stay out of the news and in God. Yes, yes, well said. All right. Thanks, everybody. Uh, Peace be with you all.